All right, we are live. Welcome, ladies and gents. Wait for some friends to join. Hello, friends who are live. Please feel free to drop any questions in the chat. Hello, Business Bargains. Good, how are you? Yeah, Vincent, I don't have too much knowledge on the impact of the iOS update. However, I did just speak with the representative at Amazon who told us that the programmatic advertising through Amazon DSP has definitely been impacted. However, we're still seeing good results. Wow, this camera is so HD. You can like see the hair on my sweater. And Facebook ads, yeah, I'm not sure. We don't run Facebook ads, so. Hi, Taylor. When is Agency Enlightened launching? Yeah, it's supposed to launch this year. I thought it'd be done by actually July this month, but just continuing to have lots of things to work on within the agency, and I'm continuing to choose to work on the agency over Agency Enlightened, just because I think that it's more beneficial not only for the agency but for the program. So yeah, probably honestly as late as you can get this year. December sounds likely, to be honest with you. Early December. Um, 5 to 6 minutes is way too long. I would try to make it no more than 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes at most. You know, the video itself is one variable or element within the system. There's many components. The video is one. The subject line of your email is one. The description, the copy in your email is another. What is the deliverability of the email? Are people actually getting it, or is it going to spam? And if people are receiving the email and you've confirmed that, let's just say 100 people have received the email, ideally 150, you need to get at least 150 receives. And if you don't have a single call booked or any responses, but your emails definitely did send, I would say that it's not a huge data set, but it's enough to know that either the market that you're going after or the service that you're pitching to the market is not a fit. So service market fit is ultimately what you're trying to achieve. You're not like calls booked is like a lead gen system that gets you calls booked is a result of service market fit at the highest level. And I think a lot of people get confused when they're starting an agency and they think, I'm picking this market, I'm picking this service, and now I'm just going to relentlessly go after it. And unfortunately, if one of those variables is wrong, if the service is not a good fit for the market that you're going after, it doesn't matter how hard you try, you're always going to get no calls. And it's going to be a failure in terms of your lead gen system. So again, I've said this many times in many videos, but you pick a service, you pick a market. Those are your two highest variables. From there, you pick a lead gen strategy. I recommend outbound because it's the easiest when you're starting. Within the outbound strategy for client generation, lead generation, client acquisition, et cetera, then you have other variables like how are you going to reach and get the attention of the ideal prospect? Who is the ideal prospect, right? You should know that if you define the market. But yeah, then it's just like, okay, are you going to reach out to them via email? Are you going to reach out via LinkedIn, Facebook? There's all these different mediums and agents in which you can reach out to the person through. So the biggest two variables are the service and the market, and then beyond that you just have the outbound or inbound, and then beyond that you have the system within the system. So hopefully that helps. We do Zoom meetings. Yeah, we use Zoom for weekly, for all meetings, events, and integrates with Slack, and it's just recurring in our calendars. A 1 to 3.5% call booking rate is typically a good average. Sometimes you'll see it at 5 or 10%, but that's ridiculously high. And the average over the mean, seems to regress to 1 to 3.5%. Yeah, the business coaches market, I mean, it's pretty competitive. It's about as competitive as it gets. Ian France, in my opinion, yes, stay in your market to begin with. Your markets are actually better because they're more blue ocean than the US markets. So you're kind of at a disadvantage because if you don't speak English perfectly, well, sorry to say it, but it's the truth. You're going to come across as someone who is basically not from the country of which you're trying to acquire clients in. And it's just going to resonate less than somebody. So for example, if you're trying to go into the US market and you're not a native English speaker from the US, it's going to be slightly harder for you to close people. And that's just my opinion. And obviously, if you're a tremendously more skilled person with a tremendously better service, you can still beat other agencies in the US. But the flip side to this is that your markets are more blue. It seems that US and Canada are kind of like leading industry leaders in terms of like, you know, what is a blue ocean typically starts in these countries, typically, not always. And then it just like lags by 1 to 2 years, potentially 3 years. So you're at an advantage. I recommend testing like 500 prospects per market at least. And you need to make sure that the emails are being delivered, the messages you're sending are being read, etc. 500 is a really good number because, you know, let's just assume only a quarter of the 500 get read, because the majority of them are going to just be skimmed and not looked at beyond a simple skim. That's still decent data. Now we're looking at around 125-ish. So I like 500 as a good number to test a market. Also, it gives you room to iterate at least once. So if you send 250 and you get absolutely zero traction, well, you can make a major split test or change in your outreach. Hypergamer, thank you. How are you? Ian France, if you speak all three perfectly, stay in Germany or Spain. Or sorry, Spanish or German. Stay in the markets that are there. Just in my opinion, it's easier to start and get your start there. But if you live in the States and you speak native English, I mean, I would stay there. Wherever you live, assuming it's a reasonable market. Like some markets are just impossible. I don't know. If you live in like, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to think of a country that is pretty wild. Singapore. Well, even Singapore has potential because it's extremely wealthy. But if you live in a pretty third world country that's quite small and secluded off the map, well, you're going to have to go into a different market. But Germany, massive market. Spain, massive market. Yeah, no worries. Hey, there's 10 people on this live. I'm about to record a bunch of YouTube videos after this. Any recommendations on videos? Obviously, it's possible to go deeper in videos because I can actually draw things on a whiteboard. So any ideas for videos? Yeah, Argentina is probably a bit tough. Yeah. Well, if there's no video recommendations or questions in the next 30 seconds here, here's a couple. Mario, I can't help you in that situation. I've had Facebook accounts banned. You just got to set up another one. Sucks. But try not to be too dependent on one ad platform. Craig, yes, you did the math correctly. At the highest potential booking rate within the averages of 1 to 3.5. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on your close rate. So like if you get 4.3 calls and you close 25%, yes, you're looking at one client. But it is worth it because one client at $2,000 a month is $24,000 a year. And one client a month is over about $300,000, near $300,000 per year in recurring revenue, assuming you average that one per month. And this is assuming it's like the most basic, right? It's if you fine tune this process and you scale it, like this is 500 prospects is like the most basic amount that you should send to, in my opinion. There's a couple of people in agency Enlightened that have scaled it to 1,500. And it's actually quite hard to achieve that with Trojan Horse because it's highly personalized. And at 1,500, they're getting 3-4 calls a week, some of these people. So 3-4 calls a week, their booking rates are decent, higher than the average, that's for sure. And I think they're signing at least a couple clients average per month, I would assume. I never actually talked to them about their success rate on the phone with closing, but when I inquired about it, They said they could sell dirt to a farmer. So I imagine it's decent. So yeah, like Craig, think of it more as like 500 is the minimum that I would recommend if you're going to test a market. And if you get a 3% call booking rate, keep doing it. Send 2,000. Like, it's 500 is kind of like more or less just a number. Ideally, you want to send 100,000 as soon as possible. And ideally, you have a system that is a push button scale in which you push a button and you've sent 10,000. And then you can instantly get your calendar full for the next 2 weeks. It's quite hard to do, but like, yeah, think in terms of scale. Don't really just look at like a small batch and think it's not worth it. Nothing is worth it unless it's scaled, really. UK, US market's good. How to test and iterate on service fulfillment would be a sick video. Interesting. Yeah. It's so contextual to the service, though. I work in an agency generating 7 figures. I'd like to speak with you further regarding agency Enlightened. Trying to work out TAM across markets. Totally agree. Finding scalability is critical. Craig, I'm not familiar. What is TAM? But yeah, that's cool that you're at a 7-figure agency. Sure, I'd be happy to talk about Agency Enlightened. Probably won't launch until December. I mean, I've been building it for 2 years, but haven't really been focusing on it too much this year, just focusing on growing the agency further. But it will be done. If you want, probably the best place to reach out is either Instagram, Taylor Benterud, or email tb@taylorbenterud.com. Either of those work. Total addressable market. Cool. I've never heard that term. Interesting. I like it. What's your role within the agency? I want to start YouTube ads agency and have even taken some courses. I want to work in an agency before starting my own. What's the best way to convince agency owners? Tell them you're willing to work for free for 30 days and that you think you can drive exponential value with whatever skills that you have. And if they don't think that it's worth it at the end of the 30 days or 2 weeks, they don't need to pay you. But if they do think it is, try to work out some type of salary. From what I've heard, it's like kind of if you have zero experience and you've never gotten a job before and you're fresh out of college, I don't have any experience in this, but I've done a bunch of interviews hiring for people for our agency, and I've heard that it's hard to get your first job because it's like whoever hires you is taking a chance since you don't have any work experience within whatever industry you're trying to get into. So yeah, you're doing the right things, take some courses, get some skills, show that you are a dedicated learner. And in my opinion, that's one of the most important things. This person is really a lifelong learner. They care about personal development, and they have a unique skill set that is attractive to helping me grow my agency. So, and just apply to as many agencies as you possibly can. That's it. Really, that's the easiest thing. You just set up a good resume, a good video, send custom videos to like 150, 200, 300, 400 agencies. If you send a video to 500 agencies saying you really want to work with them and it's a 1-2 minute Loom video, I guarantee you'll find a job next week. Doesn't take much to convince them, to be honest. Most people have pretty low hiring standards. Mario, you can set up another account by using somebody else's name, a brother, a sister. I believe like I have 2 Facebook accounts and I set it up under my own Facebook account. Like I have 2 under my name. You don't even really need somebody else's name. I could be wrong in saying that. Maybe it's changed, but I have multiple accounts. Trojan horse is really like one of the best ways to stand out. It's a video. It doesn't get more personalized than that. The email that it's sent in is like a GIF of like moving 2-3 second motion of the video itself with, your face in the bottom left corner and the prospect's website or whatever it is that is theirs that you're recording on. So if you can't make it work with like custom videos, it's unlikely cold email is going to work. Again, it's unlikely. Piotr Kolada, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. We came up with the decision to build our own bid management software because nothing really existed at the time. Yeah, we were one of the few people. It was that blue of an ocean. I could have started a software company, didn't. There was so much potential to make ridiculous amounts of money in our market, but I was so new to business and didn't have not only like the cash, but just, wow, there was so much opportunity. Still is tremendous opportunity in e-commerce in general, especially in Amazon. But yeah, it's not that hard. I mean, some math, just some basic mathematics. Honestly, most of the information for building bid formulas for optimizing bids is publicly online. So yeah, it was definitely harder back then when there was no information public. Yeah, level 4 niches are pretty in the weeds. My recommendation there is pick like 5 or 10 level 4 niches and just do as much as you can within it and broaden the niche as you get clients. Mario, I'm not sure. I've never ran Google display ads. Which service do you recommend to offer for your agency? Think about Google ads and using Trojan horse tactic for it. Lars, I'm not sure what your question is. Which service do you recommend to offer for your agency? Do you mean like for my agency? Like if you were to offer something to my agency? Craig, cool. You ran your own FBA business, still do a long agency job. Account manager, I'm taking responsibility of systematizing top of funnel. Very cool. That's legendary. Blue Ocean strategy, the main benefit's pretty simple. Understand if your market is blue or red. Can you give me a plane to grow faster on Amazon? You're funny. E-commerce leads is so generic, but just finding leads is pretty straightforward and simple. You search for them and archive the information of the lead into a database. Ideally, you hire some virtual assistants to help you. Yeah. Any other questions, friends? This has been a good live stream, 17 people. I'm going to do some YouTube videos today. This is my list I have. zooming in and out. So like kind of a mental model or skill, the ability to zoom in and the ability to zoom out and look at like what's the big bottleneck, what do I need to fix, and the ability to zoom in and verify if it's truly the bottleneck, and then also understand the easiest way to fix it. But I want to go deeper on it. I've talked about that before, but like something I did recently, which was a mistake, is I kind of zoomed in for too long. You got to be careful about how long you zoom in for. So ideally you zoom in and zoom out rapidly. I know it's pretty abstract what I just said, so if that's confusing, don't worry. I'm gonna make another video on sales pipeline. Dig your well before you're thirsty. Everything's a bottleneck. Kind of had this realization the other day that like for a long time I was kind of just thinking, okay, what's the biggest bottleneck, and let me work on that without considering the second biggest, third biggest, fourth biggest bottlenecks, and realizing that actually, like, if you kind of think in the immediate time frame of like what's the current bottleneck that's the biggest bottleneck in the now. So okay, the best way I like to explain this is if you think right now, today's date, biggest bottleneck, it is, let's say, hiring people. Okay, but 3 years, let's look at next 3-year timeline. What's going to be our biggest bottleneck, or what is our biggest bottleneck in the 3-year timeline to achieve our goals? Because we're, of course, reverse engineering based on whatever our MRR goals are. The bottleneck actually changes based on the time frame that you look at. I never really thought of it like this. So what was the realization that came out of this? The realization that came out of this was kind of like, well, for a long time, we've kind of been putting off advertising ourselves and like focusing on marketing. We do absolutely nothing for marketing ourselves. And when I say that, I'm being sarcastic. Like, we post content on LinkedIn, but predominantly it's 2 people within our company that actually consistently post content on LinkedIn. There's other people that post, and their posts are great, but it's not as active, and as the quantity is not as much. So yeah, we haven't ran a webinar in a year and a half. We haven't sent out emails to our list of prospects. We haven't ran any ads for ourselves. Our website could be better. We could do more with like social and content. We'd have no blog. Anyways, so there's this realization that like, okay, it doesn't matter that our hiring bottleneck is the current bottleneck. A massive bottleneck that will always occur is the ability to attract higher quality leads, increasing quantity and quality of leads. And that's actually the ultimate bottleneck of like any agency. Typically, it's the hardest thing that most people can't figure out, client acquisition. For us, it's been very easy, very fortunate. We're very blessed. We're in a great market. We have amazing service market fit, and that's predominantly why, along with really good content. And it's taken us years to establish a good name. Anyways, so yeah, looking at the next 2-year time frame or 3-year time frame or even 1-year time frame, a bottleneck for us is actually marketing ourselves better and doing more content. And so with that came the realization that, you know what, we need to finally hire like a digital marketer and give them the vision, like, hey, we want to 10x our content, and like, this is what we're doing now. Now go and like 100x it and build systems around 100xing it. We want to be like omnipresent 100 times more than what we are currently. So yeah, bottlenecks are to be seen based on timeframes, which was a good realization for me, and I've never really looked at it like that. I have used Upwork, and I believe we did test their paid service, but it was like $40 or $50 or something. I don't think I've heard of Talent Scout. But Hypergamer, I think. I don't know for sure as of yet. We hired a recruiting agency. We have a recruiter right now, and she's great, but she's a freelancer, so she doesn't have a lot of time. She can't deliver a ton of apps. And we just hired a recruiting agency, very expensive agency, 25% of first year salary. For a long time, I was very anti, paying people that, because it's ridiculous. But they're a legit agency, and they have been delivering lots of apps. None of the apps have been perfect, but that's typically how it works with recruiters. When you start out, you got to give them lots of feedback. And so they've been getting a lot better with their applicants. The last few applicants have been really good. And we still rejected them, but I think we finally fixed it. But it'll probably be a problem again in 6 months. So I'll check out the Talent Scout thing. I don't. If you're talking about the thing that's $50, then yeah, we tested that. But typically, there's no talent that we could find on Upwork for what we're looking for. Sadly. Tips on getting first few customers. I mean, I think I've made enough tips on client acquisition. I've also got tons of videos. Is it easy to get a job if you've spent over $700 on Facebook? It's probably just as hard if you've spent $0, but slightly easier. Abshir, I would tell myself to relentlessly test service market fit. Should we go in a sub niche in ecom? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Ecom is not a niche. I don't know why people think ecom is a niche. Ecom is e-commerce. I'm an ecom, but I don't define what I do as ecom. We help brands on Amazon that are doing 7 to 8+ figures annually. And we manage their ads for them and grow them an extra 20, 30%. So it's I don't say, oh yeah, I'm an ecom. No. That's the entire world. The entire world is selling things online. It's a pleasure to attend after months of following you this live. Cool. Yeah, the version of Trojan Horse Marketing that I released on YouTube a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, is no longer what we do. We do not do a scarcity based. I forget what the word I'm looking for is. A pain scarcity based approach in which we're trying to say you're making all these mistakes. You could make more. If you don't reach out to us, we're going to reach out to your competitor. And the reason why we shifted to a more love-based approach in which we say hey, I think you have a lot more opportunity to grow. Here's a few ideas on how I think that's possible. If you like this video, not if you like this video, that sounds like YouTube. If you found some value in this video, I'd be more than happy to hop on a call and give you more insights. If not, all the best. And we shifted that because our branding and our brand is very much one of being a thought leader in the space and being extremely friendly and extremely kind and very giving and free with the information that we have. So yeah, the scarcity pain based approach just does not resonate with who we are as a brand and how we're known. So we shifted it, and it actually performs better in my opinion. I can't tell you conversion rate is higher or anything like that, because honestly, it's pretty much the same. But I can tell you that there's no more people who are pissed and responding, saying fuck you or anything like that. Ridiculously aggressive, pissed responses were maybe less than 1%, 0.5%. But now it's gone to 0. And we don't ever want to piss people off because it hurts the brand. Ovich or Ovik. What niche would you choose if Amazon PPC was off the table? Wow. I have the agency in my mind. If I could enter a temporal reality in which time does not move and I could build another agency, I know the exact service and the exact market. And honestly, I've been wanting to find somebody who I can invest in and like split equity in the agency because it's such a blue ocean. And yeah, it's like legendary. I wish I could do it. It'd be so exciting and so fun. It's high ticket, blue ocean. There's literally like fucking nobody in the space doing it. There's probably 3 people, 3 agencies, maybe 2. No, I think there's one that's good. There's a bunch of other ones that really aren't that great, but are starting to grow because it's a blue ocean. Yeah, I don't know if I'm too I'm biased on it, but like I'm looking for somebody who I would love to just like give money to more or less and be like, hey, I'll be a silent, inactive partner that will have mentorship and advice. And I think my idea was this. There's this one person who I've been trying to pitch it to. He's got a lot of potential, and I just like told him, I was like, hey, look, if you want to do this, I'll put in like $15,000, $20,000. We'll hire out the virtual assistants. We'll get the website set up. We'll get everything set up, etc. And 2-3 months, we should have at least 3 clients for $3,000 to $4,000 per month. Yeah, I'm not too willing to share. I think I really like think that there's a timeline in which we can scale it, and partly because I want to enter this market and document the process of growing it and make it like a giant case study for Agency Enlightened. Or Agency Enlightened is primarily for agency owners who are doing $5,000-$10,000 plus per month already. But I want to go into this market, document the entire process, and then make this more or less a course or a giant documentary with hours and hours and hours of videos and explanations in terms of how the process was done, and utilizing it as a course for people who want to start an agency from zero. Because I think, I would do my best to bootstrap the hell out of everything, website, everything, try to have like less than $500 in the bank and get this agency to like 10K a month in like less than 90 days, similar to what happened with Better AMS. But the only difference now is like, I got really lucky with Better AMS. I had no knowledge of what a blue ocean was, and that was luck. But now I want to like scan the market, find a blue ocean, enter it, get to 10, 20, 30K a month in 3-6 months. That'd be really cool. I am the guy. Let's do it. Send me a DM on Instagram. I'm happy to hear your pitch as to why you think you're the guy. Let me know what your skill sets are. Yeah, definitely more globally appreciated for sure. I hate BTs. Hello, friend. How are you? VJ. Yeah, like Ludwig said. Lots of videos on the channel. But like, systems, automating things requires people. I think there was this misconception, especially when I first started talking about automation and stuff. Like some stuff you can build and make it like a click a button software, but someone still has to click the button. Someone still has to maintain the software. So the best systems are built and then given to someone to maintain and improve. But you can't just build all these systems and then like not actually have people in place to manage and run them. I think that's a misconception, is like automate your agency and you could like be yourself and have no employees and make like 30, 40K a month. No. You can't do that. That's not possible. It's not possible. Not in a service-based business. I don't care. Like there's nobody on earth, in my opinion, who is running a true agency, which is service-based, done for you, and is doing 50K a month, has no employees, and has the whole thing automated. That would be a software if it was truly fully automated. And even if it was a software, that person would still have to be writing code, debugging shit. Like you cannot get to 50K a month, even 30K a month, even 25K a month. You can't get there and fully automate things. It's truly impossible. The closest thing you can get to money on autopilot is like affiliate. And I don't know, you made a bunch of YouTube videos, have affiliate links in them, and now they're just sitting there doormat. But even that will go down over time. So nothing's autopilot. You need humans. You need humans. But AMS has given me so much value and free content. Andrew, much love. Appreciate you. What is the client acquisition system for Amazon brands? Predominantly for us, it's content marketing. You're going to create a community for like-minded people. Is that something that got dropped for now? That was an idea, Usman. I wanted to see kind of how much interest there was from people. I think that if we created the community, we could easily get 50 people. And honestly, I don't want to create a shit community. I want to create something that's really cool. I want to use, there's a really cool circle.so is a software that I want to, Agency Enlightened will be built. The social platform for the group will not be in Facebook. It'll be in circle.so. And so if we did the community for that, it would also be in circle.so. And so honestly, it'll probably take me, I don't know, a week to build out a really nice aesthetic onboarding and group for Agency Enlightened. And for something like that, I would just duplicate the Agency Enlightened group and then change the onboarding guidelines, make it public, probably private with an entry. We'd probably need like an admin to vet people. Yeah, I really like the idea. I want to do it. Just getting some things finalized with the agency. I think I'll be back into working on Agency Enlightened here pretty quickly. Company is run by people who operate following systems. Yes, companies need people. Craig, let's talk. Are you referring to Agency Enlightened or the agency that I want to be a silent partner in? Yeah. Either way, I'm open to talk to people. Instagram is probably the easiest platform for me to communicate through. What are the most essential things that drive marketing results? Idea, angling, copywriting. Mario, service market fit is the most essential thing that drives marketing results. And it's funny that people obsess over marketing because, like, let me give you an example. Red Bull is a good example. The 5-hour energy drinks that you see in gas stations with kind of like the reddish yellow bottle, good example. What else is a good example? I don't know, the person who invented like the wheel or the railways. Like these are all things in which they were created and it was such a blue ocean. It was so extremely valuable that there's pretty much no marketing needed. It's just like, hey, I have Advil. I've created a solution that takes away your headache within 10 minutes. This doesn't exist anywhere else. Wow. Like that is the easiest thing in the world to sell because you're in a blue ocean. And if you're the second person to create the second best Advil, like ibuprofen, you're still in a blue ocean. But if you're the 100th person to create an alternate formula, you're too late. It's a red ocean. So it's kind of like, you see what I'm getting at here? It's like service market fit is actually the most important thing. And yeah, well, once you have a product, yes, it needs to be marketed, but the process of marketing is pretty straightforward. Like you just said it all right there. You know, like angling, like you need to have a good angle. You should have good copy. If you have a creative within it, should be great creative. And all of that stuff is pretty straightforward. You know, the hardest thing is truly like service market fit. And you know what, like to be fair, there's lots of products on planet Earth that, you know, there wasn't really, like it was pretty competitive and they still got to be massive because they had really good marketing. Purple Mattress is a good example. Purple Mattress is a company that like, they came into the fucking mattress industry and like, that is hundreds of years old and they crushed it. Why? They had this really funny ad that went viral on YouTube, and they had like viral marketing, video marketing, and that was a unique strategy. With that being said, it's almost like you can enter red oceans if you have a blue ocean marketing platform and style. So, for example, YouTube, Google AdWords came out, and it allowed people to leverage like, you know, the internet to get leads and stuff. And there was people who built like insurance agencies up to 7-8 figures with Google AdWords at that time, like really like basic commodity like companies that are absolute red oceans, and they could build it up really quickly because there's this new marketing platform that came out. And that's a trend and it comes and it goes, but it's a blue ocean in the sense that like, and that's kind of the best blue ocean that you can find is a marketing like platform. If you have business savviness and experience in business and you find a blue ocean to market things with, oh my God, like that's the gold mine because you could do anything. Of course, you only have so much time, and the window of opportunity is only going to be open for so long. But like Facebook ads, you know, years and years and years ago, blue ocean, you could have made ridiculous amounts of money selling almost anything. YouTube ads is pretty blue right now. Amazon ads was a massive blue ocean like 5 years ago. Amazon in itself was a massive blue ocean. Like you could sell spoons, forks and knives. We have clients who sell forks and knives, and they were working 9-to-5 jobs, you know, 4 or 5 years ago. And now they're selling forks and knives and like cutlery, kitchen, culinary related products. So sorry, there's some background noise. So yeah, if you can find a marketing platform that allows you to market anything on, then that's kind of the most ideal situation. Sorry. The wifey was playing music. Purple did do a great job. Their unique mechanism was the foamy stuff that they have. They also made it purple, and they used viral marketing. So they did fantastic. Yes. Friends, this has been a near hour-long live stream. I love you all. I appreciate you all. And hopefully this was valuable for you. All right. Ciao, friends. Much love. Gabo, Yes, I will see you soon.